I am Tungo Tamabioi, native of Enia Embera. They demand from me to pay for an external debt that I have never contracted and I have never benefited from. The lawyers of the powerful crediting countries, their banks and companies' lawyers, explain to me that the cost of any debt is the interest, and it has to be paid even if human beings and entire countries have to be sold. Okay, if so are things, I can also ask for the payment of a debt. I can also charge interest. The Indian file states paper over paper, receipt over receipt, and signature over signature that only between 1503 and 1660, 185,000 kilograms of gold and 16 million kilograms of silver reached San Lucas of Barrameda, Spain's port, which came from America. It's true, those tons of gold and silver were not alone. Instead, they were looting, snatching, even genocide. But of course, to assert about that would be to presume about the existence of those war crimes, which in turn would give the right not only to ask for an immediate devolution of gold and silver for the indemnity of damage and harm. I rather think in less offensive hypothesis, those 185,000 gold kilograms and 16 million silver kilograms might be thought at the fate of many other friendly loans from America that were assigned for development in Europe and then other regions today so-called developed. But today, 500 years later, we should ask, have the so-called developed countries made a rational, responsible, or at least productive use of the funds so generously advanced by the Indian-American International Fund? We are sorry to say the answer is no. They have wasted those funds. Financially speaking, they have been incapable, after 500 years delay, not only of paying the capital and interest, of becoming independent of liquid income, raw materials, and cheap energy that third world countries export and provide them. This deplorable chart corroborates Milton Friedman's affirmation that a subsidized economy will never work out. This chart also forces us to claim, for their own sake, the payment of capital and its interest that so generously we have taken centuries to collect. By saying this, we clarify that we won't diminish ourselves to ask for any payment to our developed brothers of the insignificant and bloody rate of 20 to 30% of interest that they charge the third world countries' towns. We will limit ourselves to demand the return of precious metals in advance, plus the low fixed interest rate of 10% that has accumulated only in the last 300 years, with 200 years of grace. Based on these, and applying the formula invented by the developed countries about the compound interest, we inform our discoveries that they owe us as the first step payment a mass of 185,000 kilograms of gold and 16 million kilograms of silver, both figures to the power of 300. It means a number that will need more than 300 numbers to be expressed, and that widely surpasses the total weight of the Earth planet. Those gold and silver molds are very heavy. How much will they weigh in blood, human lives, suffering, and hunger? They demand from me to pay for an external debt that I have never contracted and I have never benefited from. The lawyers of the powerful crediting countries, their banks and companies' lawyers, explain to me that the cost of any debt is the interest, and it has to be paid even if human beings and entire country have to be sold. Excuse me, but what debt are they talking about?